What if I told you that your $1 million retirement nest egg could actually turn into $5 million by the time you're done with retirement? Most people think reaching that magic $1 million mark means they'll slowly drain it down to zero. But the shocking reality is completely opposite. Here's the problem. Financial advisors and retirement calculators are scaring you into thinking you'll run out of money, causing you to oversave and underlive during your golden years. Meanwhile, real retirees are sitting on growing piles of cash they're too afraid to spend. I've analyzed decades of retirement data, withdrawal studies, and real-world spending patterns to uncover what actually happens to your money in retirement, and the results will surprise you. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly why most retirees end up wealthier than when they started, the mathematical reason your portfolio keeps growing even while you're withdrawing from it, and the psychological factors that turn retirees into accidental millionaires. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the 4% rule might be too conservative for your own good, and how you can plan a retirement where you actually get to enjoy your money instead of hoarding it. But first, let me show you the data that flips everything you know about retirement on its head. Let's start with a reality check that will blow your mind. While financial media keeps pushing that $1 million retirement target, here's what's actually happening in the real world. The median net worth for Americans aged 65 to 74, just $410,000. That's less than half of that magical million everyone talks about. Yet somehow these people are retiring and living comfortably. How is that possible? Here's the secret sauce. Social Security. The average couple receives about $4,000 per month. That's $48,000 per year of guaranteed income for life. And here's the kicker. The typical retiree only spends about $60,800 per year in their early retirement years. Do the math with me. $60,800 in expenses minus $48,000 from Social Security equals just $12,800 that needs to come from savings. At a 5% withdrawal rate, that requires only $256,000 in savings, nowhere near $1 million. But wait, it gets even better. As retirees age, their spending naturally drops. By age 75 and beyond, average spending falls to around $53,500 per year. That means many retirees are actually spending less than their Social Security provides. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the key to understanding how $1 million becomes $5 million. There's something researchers call the consumption gap, the difference between what retirees could spend and what they actually spend. And this gap is massive. Think about it. You've spent 40 years in accumulation mode, being told to save, save, save. Then suddenly at 65, someone tells you to flip a switch and start spending. But psychologically, that's nearly impossible. Three powerful forces keep retirees from spending their money. First, habits die hard. If you've been a saver your whole life, you don't magically become a spender overnight. Second, loss aversion kicks in. Watching your portfolio balance drop every time you make a withdrawal feels painful, even when it's planned. Third, uncertainty rules everything. You don't know how long you'll live, what healthcare will cost, or what the market will do tomorrow. The result? Most retirees withdraw far less than they safely could. JP Morgan's data shows the most common withdrawal rate isn't 4%, it's just 2%. That means instead of drawing down their portfolios, retirees are letting them grow while barely touching the principal. Let me show you the mathematics behind this wealth multiplication effect. Bill Bengen, the guy who created the famous 4% rule, made a shocking discovery. Over 90% of retirees who followed his rule ended up with more money at the end of retirement than when they started. Here's why. The 4% rule was designed for the worst-case scenarios in market history, but most of the time, markets return more than 4% annually. When you combine market growth with the fact that retirees typically withdraw less than 4%, you get a perfect storm for wealth accumulation. Michael Kitches ran computer simulations on this, and the results were mind-blowing. Using the standard 4% withdrawal strategy, the median retiree ended up with 5 times their starting portfolio value. Let's see this in action. Start with $1 million. Markets historically average around 7% annually. You withdraw 4%, $40,000 the first year. Your portfolio grows by 7%, $70,000. You're already $30,000 ahead in year one. But remember, retirees don't actually withdraw 4%. They withdraw closer to 2%. So instead of taking out $40,000, you take $20,000. Your net gain, $50,000 in the first year alone. Compound this over 20 to 30 years of retirement, and that $1 million easily becomes $3, $4, or even $5 million. Let me paint you some real-world pictures to make this concrete. Meet couple number one. They retire with $800,000 saved and receive $4,000 monthly from Social Security. They spend $75,000 per year, which is actually above the national average for retirees. After Social Security, they need $27,000 from their portfolio, which is about a 3.4% withdrawal rate. Even with this comfortable lifestyle, their money will likely grow throughout retirement. Now consider the single retiree with $600,000 saved and $2,000 monthly Social Security. They spend the average $60,800 per year. After Social Security, they need $36,800 from savings, about a 6% withdrawal rate initially. But here's the magic. As they age and spending naturally declines, that withdrawal rate drops. By their 70s and 80s, they're withdrawing 4% or less, allowing their portfolio to stabilize and often grow. The pattern is clear. Even modest savings combined with Social Security creates a foundation where portfolios can thrive instead of just surviving. Here's what the financial industry doesn't want you to know. The million-dollar obsession is making you work longer than necessary and enjoy life less than you should. Look at the numbers again. The median retirement savings for people aged 55 to 64 is only $185,000 to $200,000. Yet millions of these people retire successfully every year. Why? Because retirement isn't just about one number. It's about creating multiple income streams. Social Security covers about 40% of the average retiree's needs. Add in modest savings, maybe some home equity, or part-time income, and suddenly retirement becomes achievable without that intimidating 7-figure balance. The real secret is that once you understand your actual expenses and income sources, you realize you might need far less than you think. And when you need less, you stress less, work less, and ironically often end up with more. This is why retirees consistently report higher happiness levels than working-age adults, despite having less earned income. They've discovered that enough is actually enough. So how do you apply this to your own situation? It's simpler than you think. Step 1. Calculate your real expenses. Not what you think you'll spend, but what you actually spend. Write it down for 3 months. Most people overestimate their retirement needs by 20 to 30%. Step 2. Add up all your income sources. Social Security, pensions, rental income, part-time work, everything counts. Step 3. Find the gap. The difference between your expenses and guaranteed income is what your savings need to cover. Step 4. Apply a reasonable withdrawal rate, not the ultra-conservative 4%, but something realistic like 5 to 6% for your situation. The result? Your personal retirement number, which might be $300,000, $500,000, or yes, sometimes $1 million. But it's your number, not some arbitrary target from a magazine headline. Here's the truth that changes everything. The goal isn't to die with the most money. It's to live the retirement you want while having the confidence that your money will last. When you understand that most retirees end up wealthier, not poorer, it gives you permission to stop over-saving and start over-living. Your $1 million could indeed become $5 million, but more importantly, it could become the foundation for decades of financial freedom and peace of mind. So stop chasing arbitrary numbers and start planning for the retirement you actually want. Trust me, your future self and your bank account will thank you. What's your retirement number looking like now? Drop a comment below and let's continue this conversation.